Vision IT is a subscription-based service from Partners in IT that provides enterprise IT monitoring capabilities at an affordable and predictable monthly cost. It delivers a complete monitoring solution ranging from basic server and network infrastructure, application monitoring, and synthetic web-based application transactions. Partners in IT's Andy Lark talks us through the interface.
In this demo, we're going to log into the Vision IT system, look at the interface and how it quickly enables us to identify where the problem areas are and navigate right down to the underlying cause. I'm going to log in as a user, and here we can see the initial interface that the user is presented with, very clear with pie charts and graphs and showing exactly where the problems are. On the left hand area we can see three tabs: the hosts tab, services, and a small search tab. If we look through the host side of things, we can see that these are grouped in any way we like. So these could be geographically, departmental, etc. And within those, the various hosts which are monitored within those groups. We can see these are color coded, so those groups which are fully operational are in a green state. Those that have a yellow icon have some kind of warning, and as we can see, the Partners in IT is showing with the critical issue. On the right hand side we can see the host groups. We can see that there are 8 host groups in total, and all of those host groups are up and operational. On the very right hand side we can see there are 38 hosts within all of those groups, and again that all 38 of those hosts are actually up and running. I'm going to look at the Partners in IT group as a critical problem. If we hover over the group, obviously we can now see there are 19 hosts within that group. 6 of them have some kind of problem with the hosts, and there are 7 services which have a problem. I click on the group, that will expand it for us, and again here we can very easily see that the MS MOS Corp 1 server has the critical problem. And also if we look on the right hand side, we can see that there are within this group 173 services being monitored, and 166 of those are fine. Some are unknown, 5 warnings, but the one we're really interested in is this critical one. If I click on that link, that will show us that there are problems with the CPU, both the total and CPU 1. It's also indicating that these have not been acknowledged yet, so I'm the first person to come across these and nobody's currently working on these issues. If I close that window, I'll go down to the MS Corp 1 server, select that. Again, we can see the right hand window is now changed to reflect that I'm looking at the particular server in question. So there are 11 services being checked, 9 are okay, and 2 are in a critical state, which are the 2 CPU issues that we can see in the left hand side. Again, I can drill down, clicking on the total CPU, and here we can see very quickly that today the CPU is running above the critical threshold. The critical threshold we can see is 90%, and the warning threshold is 80%. So I can very easily see where the problem is. Up the top here I can click on acknowledge. So because I'm looking at this problem, I'll mark it, and we can see, so that let other people know that I'm looking at this issue. It may be that this problem's been going on for a while, or that there's been problems in previous weeks. So I can look at, say, maybe the last 7 days, look into whether there's been a problem before. I can see nothing in the last 7 days. I'll look right back over the last 90 days, the last 3 months, and again I can see no history of this, so this is a recent issue that's appeared just today. So if I return to today's graph, I can see it's a very recent issue in the last 2 hours or so. I can actually see it's also a problem with just CPU 1, so this is a twin CPU box. CPU 0 appears to be okay, So it's one particular process which is hogging just the one CPU. And here we can see my comment has been added, so if somebody else is looking at this same screen, they'll be able to see that I'm looking at the problem. Okay, if we look at the Services tab now, again, these can be grouped in any way we like. We've created one for SharePoint, so we can create the services that build up our SharePoint service, and likewise with Exchange, we can look at which services build up our Exchange service and very quickly identify if any of the problems that we've got are actually service affecting. And as we can see here, because all of these services are green, this particular problem with the CPU is not actually affecting any of our services. While we've been navigating around, the system has been keeping a history of where we've been, which screens we've looked at. So I can actually change back and traverse back through my history, looking at any particular problems that I may have been looking at earlier on today. So now you can see we've covered how quickly it is to identify where the problems are, which services are affected, which groups are affected, and very quickly we can navigate down to the bottom of the problem and see exactly where the problems are. And now we can see that the CPU is gradually returning to normal.